Hey guys, welcome back. So today was an interesting day. I've had the full day to myself today, which is not very often that I get to. And I was just so happy because I was able to get things done. And then every single cane that I made today has not turned out. And that's two that I've made so far. Two flowers that didn't turn out, and two flowers that I had to scrap. So that's a little aggravating because that would have been two more videos that I could have had for you guys and kind of caught up on making videos. Instead, we're starting all over again. So it happens. I get that, but it's a little disappointing when that happens. So out of those flowers, the components that I used for one of the flowers, I'm going to end up making a leaf today. So I am making a Skinner blend with, these are about 150. I don't think they're 2 inches. Oh, yep, they're 2 inches squares. That's pearl, peacock pearl, and white. And then on the outside of this leaf, we're going to use orange, yellow, and white. And since this is a 3-part cane, I always put these in teardrops. So that's what I'm doing now. And then we'll make the Skinner blend, and I got a lot of air in that. It doesn't really matter that I had the air in it because these have not gone through the pasta machine yet. So we're going to leave this alone. Okay. And we're going to put the white in the middle. Sorry, I'm eating a peep. Went and got stuff for the grandkids' Easter baskets. And they have Dr. Pepper Peeps. And I know that they've got other flavors because I've heard people talking about them. And I've never been a Peep fan. But now that I'm older, I kind of appreciate them more. You know, I don't know if it's just the burst of sugar, but yeah, these were Dr. Pepper Peeps. So I've been munching on sugar because I do that when I get frustrated. But 1 or 2 of those is about all I can eat, and then I just sit for the rest of the week, and they're already hard because I think I opened them up after I bought them just to try them, and I don't even know if my grandkids like Peeps. I got them the normal ones. But they eat a lot more things than I did at their age. They like eating fish and all kinds of stuff, and I was never like that growing up. Alright, so I want to make this white thinner. It's becoming longer too because it's the softest out of all the clays. This can be a little whiter. And the orange looks fine. Just thin that out a little bit. Okay, so that's how I make my Skinner blend. So I'm going to run these both through the pasta machine, and I will come back when we're ready to go. See you in a bit. Alrighty, so we have our Skinner blends made. This one I've already kind of put into a little bar here. And this one, I'm going to wrap the yellow up so that's kind of in the middle. I thought about doing it with the white on the end and doing it into a fan fold, but I changed my mind and decided to do it this way instead. Okay, so now we have a Skinner blend bullseye here. Okay, so we're gonna just flatten that down because there are some air bubbles in there. So I just kind of, oops, I don't want red on there. Just push that down a little bit. This I'm going to open up anyways, so I'm not worried about that centerpiece because I'm going to stick a blade right through that. Okay. So now we're just going to roll it to about 1.5 inches, which is about right there. Okay, and now we're going to do this. And this one we're just going to make into a nice rounded shape. So that's basically kind of folding both of the sides like that. Okay. And then we're going to wrap it all the way around with some peacock pearl. And I think I'm just going to do this at a number 3. But I want to make it a little darker. So I'm going to add just a tad bit of black to that. Hopefully that tad wasn't a little too dark. Alrighty, so now let's just get this all nice and straight here. I don't know why it's, I know that's the same color, but it kind of looks off. And we're just going to take this right here. Uh-oh. All right, well, let's come back in and try that again. We'll go the opposite way. So what we need to do is we need to get this in here. So I'm not going to turn it into a triangle yet. I'm going to keep it round as I reduce it, and that way it keeps the actual petal round, because if I make it into a triangle like this, I will flatten the bottom side. So I'm trying not to do that. And then I'm probably going to want to darken that orange a little bit as well. I don't know yet. So I'm trying to think of how big I want this. This is about almost 1 3/4. So, boy, my blades are horrible, and I just took out a new one. These are really, really bad. This might be a new one. I'm going to find out now. Okay, so this, we're going to take where it's white, and now is where we're going to turn it into a triangle. And where's that piece that I had here? Okay, so on this, we're going to cut it right in half. And you know my depth perception is not that great. So we're going to try and get it as close to the middle as we possibly can. Oops, see how that is? But that's where the middle is. But I don't like that. And it's hard to gauge it because the yellow, as you can see over here, is smaller than the yellow on this side. So I'm going to use this as my point. Okay, and I've got these right where they should be. And it really doesn't matter because I'm going to be squishing the heck out of this. So, okay, so now I just want to see what size I want this. And I think we're at a good size right here. Okay, so now we're just going to make sure that we're nice and round, nice and pointy, and nice and even. Okay. And then we're going to figure out where we want to lay this. It's probably going to go about right there. Okay, so now what I need to do is I just need to make a little bit of an indentation right here so that it lays in here. Okay, so we're just going to kind of like do that. And it just creates a nice little pocket. Okay, so that's where we want it. And then this, we're just going to pull out a little bit. Okay. And now we're going to do the same with the other side. Just going to create a little pocket. And then we're going to come down here. Okay. So that's where it's going to end up. Okay. And then on the bottom here, we're going to put some peacock pearl all the way across that bottom. Hopefully I have enough here. I want to use this at the thickest layer. So I think I can do it. Definitely hasn't been a great cane making day, so I'm hoping this will turn out better than all the other two that I tried today. And like I said, if not, then I quit. Alright, so just making sure I've got the right side, and I do. Okay, so we're just going to cut that off right at the bottom. Cut that little strip off. Okay. I want that right there on top like that. Okay. So, you would think that this would turn into a really nice flower. But this is what happened to it when I attempted it earlier. And And probably the reason it looks so bad is because there were 8 petals. I think that was just a little too much. Okay, so now we're just going to reduce this. And we're just going to create our leaf with this. It's going to be a fancy leaf. It's going to be more like a, I guess you can call it a feather leaf in a way. It's not your leaf with your branches or anything like that. Just a fancy leaf. And if I want, if I would have kept that round, that probably would have been smarter. Just to see if I could make another flower out of this, but it would look nicer because it is smaller leaves, or not smaller, the petals would be bigger and there wouldn't be 8 of them. But I don't think that's going to happen. Still looking at that other one and going, yeah, well, we'll cut it and see what happens, but I don't think it's going to happen. Alright, so I'm going to hit pause and I'm going to go ahead and reduce this, and I'll be back as soon as I get it to whatever length I decide to go to. Okay, so I cut to 11 inches just in case I change my mind and decide that maybe it will make a nice flower. So this way I can kind of look at it and we'll see. Okay, so that's the way the other one was supposed to look. So maybe the only problem is when you do this, it just looks so funky when it's done. Actually, I needed to go one more piece. I'm curious now. I think I'm just gonna leave it like that. I don't know. Now I'm a little confused as to how well this will look, because the other one looked really good too. But when you shrink it down to nothing, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Sorry guys, I'm thinking in my head, it's what I do. So we're going to put those aside. Okay, so we're going to take the biggest ones. So those are our petals so far. Okay, so we're going to take these two. And the way I'm doing it is, as I'm reducing, I'm going back to the top and making sure I'm pressing on the sides, and that way I'm keeping that side nice and round. So we'll see if these look okay, and if they are, then basically that is all for our cane. These would be nice little dangles for a pair of earrings. Just put a hole in them and wire wrap it on some chain. And it'll make a really nice dangle. You can make them thicker, and they can go on the bottom of a necklace like fringe, like what Susan Bailey does. If you look at Clue, she does leaves all the time, and her leaves are really nice. So much detail into them. And she just makes a lot of dangle earrings. But they're really pretty. Okay, so basically, this is our cane. Okay. So it was an easy video. But I was really worried about doing that as a flower again and then destroying it. I'm going to see what happens if we take those 4. See, and that's another thing you can make, is you can make it into a starburst. So I can do that with one more and see what would happen if I did that. Yeah, see, I think this is just a little too much. I think 4 is a perfect amount. Oh, I guess it doesn't look really that bad. Okay, so if you did a couple of those, you know, you can take it and make a little starburst cane. And that would look good as well. But for now, we are just going to use them as we planned on using them, which is exactly what we did. And we're just going to put all this together and squish them. It's easier for me to do the 2, which is why I did the 2. But they're going to end up as 4 anyways. So this way you won't need to cut into this. You'll just need to reduce it right where you want it. So I take them down about 3/4 of an inch to sometimes 1/2 inch, depending on if I'm going to use them in dangles or if they're going to be on the bottom of a fringe. But I just really could see this with, I don't know, some feathers, maybe some turquoise, and then having these hang off would look really pretty. Okay, so now we're just gonna make a nice point on the top. Okay, and there is our leaf cane for today. So I know it wasn't much. It would have been a more exciting day, trust me, if everything else worked out. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. So, you know, when that happens, there's not a whole lot I can do, but just let it go. And yes, you know what I'm doing, right? I'm going to try and make this into a starburst. I know it's really small, but it's sitting here and it's all by itself. So I don't want to leave it out. Cut it one more time. So now we have our 4. And now we're going to make this into 6 pieces, maybe 5, 6. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that, but we're going to try, even if it's 1/2 inch, just to see what it would look like. There's never a video without the dogs barking. So if I can make this 3 inches, 1, 2, 3, I can, right there. Well, let's make this a little bit wider. And we'll cut it at 1/2 inch. That's really small. Hey, Bandit, no. All right, so now we're just going to put these together, and I can still do that with some of the big ones. So this way, out of that one cane, you got all kinds of cool designs that came out of them. All right, so cut that right in half so you can see a better part. Oh, and I used the wrong side of the blade. All right, so there's your little starburst. Okay, so that's it. So I guess another thing you can do if you have flowers or anything that doesn't turn out right, you can always take it and turn it into something else, which is what I did with what I did, because this was part of that flower and that ended up being a leaf. But sometimes you can just kind of, you know, just play around, and if worse comes to worse, just turn it into a Natasha bead. Now this is a translucent cane, so this might look kind of interesting. To where you can use it with this kind of a leaf. I don't know. It's always the ones that you don't plan on that always turn out nicer too. So watch this one right here. It will turn out nicer than any of the other ones. It would not surprise me one bit. Okay, so that's another kind of like 4 petal. So let's see what it looks like when we open it up. Okay. So you could even use that. That's not really bad, actually. You know, it's actually kind of colorful, and for a background on something, that don't look too bad. So we'll see how these cook up later. So that's what we got for the day, guys. Just a nice little easy leaf cane, and then hopefully I can come back in tomorrow because I have one more full day on my own. So maybe I can come back tomorrow and revisit another flower or come up with something. I tried to make a lily cane the other day. Yeah, it hasn't been a really good week for flowers. And I ended up taking it apart and turning it into something else, which was this. But this was a lily flower. And then this was going to be something, and I ended up messing up that too. So we have 1, 2, that was the third one. This is just a red one, way too much red, and I don't like red with yellow. It's way too out there. And then of course that one. So we've worked on 4 flowers, 4 different designs, and they didn't come out as planned. So that's okay. I mean, they can still be used. I could see this being used. I could see these being used. This one probably not. This one probably not. But I will cut this down and use it into something else, so I'm not real worried about it. But yeah, it's been one of those productive yet not productive days, or weeks basically. So you guys have a great night. We will talk to you in a few days hopefully, and you guys take care of yourselves. We'll see you then. Bye.